I'm more of a generalist in real life, but with surfing, I've found that intellectualizing it and creating more black and white, measurable moments with technique, the faster my surfers are able to improve. My name is Kale Brock. I'm a surfer and a surf coach, and today I want to share with you a fundamental surfing idea that will shift the way you look at a wave. And I'm also going to share some more detailed lessons that you can learn and apply consciously on a wave to improve your performance. So to share this story, I want to bring you on retreat with me. And the first stop is here in the Maldives. This video is brought to you by the Surfer's Roadmap. We have online courses on our site, plus we run a bunch of in-person experiences around the world. At wave pools like the UK next month, in Melbourne and Sydney in Australia, and overseas as well. If you want to grab a spot for these experiences, check out the link in the description below. Basic surfer will move in these lines, right? We've talked about that. So their arm will probably be just moving this line here. Okay, the more advanced surfer will be going up and down like this, so their leading arm will be tracing that line the whole time. So essentially what we have is a series of smiles and frowns, which make up an S on a wave. And this refers to the line that the surfer is taking when they are on that wave. And I actually see two common problems when it comes to surfers understanding this and then applying it in their surfing. Number one is they go too far out into the flats before initiating their turn back up the wave. This obviously drastically limits the amount of speed that they have for their bottom turn, which makes it a little less functional. So a much better approach is for the surfer to think about flirting with the flats of the wave when they do their bottom turn. This generally allows the surfer enough time to gather maximum speed on that wave as they go down the wave face, but it prevents them from losing that speed from going out into the flats. So they want to come to the bottom of the wave to maximize that space that they have for the bottom turn, but they don't want to go so far that they start losing speed. So the idea of flirting with the flats seems to be the most balanced approach. Or number two, and this seems to represent a lack of spatial awareness with regards to where the surfer is in relation to the lip of the wave, is many surfers don't actually leave enough space to create an adequately sized smile. So this means that they'll often initiate their bottom turn too early on the wave face, which number one makes the bottom turn actually harder to do because you're trying to dig rail in a steeper part of the water. And it also doesn't allow enough space for the surfboard to actually change directions enough and start going up the wave face before the maneuver can be initiated. This results in typically quite horizontal surfing, so short smiles and frowns, and doesn't allow the surfer to very powerfully transition onto the opposite rail within the turn, because as they're going up the wave face, you can imagine the surfboard actually flattens off, and that enables that transition onto the opposite rail to occur quite naturally. It also affects the turn quite dramatically, because if we approach the section too horizontally, there's less wave to push against, there's less lip to push against within the maneuver, which means we run the risk of sliding out a lot more, which means surfers tend to be a little bit tentative with their turns. The more lip we have to press against, the harder the turn can be, but the easier it feels. So we can actually break up the smile into different points. We create A, B, and C. So point A refers to where you are taking off on the wave. That's the first point of call. Point B is the middle of the smile at the bottom of the wave. And point C is our maneuver section.
So reiterating, we have point A, which is our takeoff. We have point B, which is the bottom turn or the part of the bottom turn. And we have point C, which is our maneuver section. This actually corresponds to how I would train someone in this area on land with the surf skates. So we often take people and set up this smile exercise where we can go through that motion between point A, B, and C to create a little bit more kinesthetic understanding of moving through the wave face and creating a natural line that aesthetically looks good and functionally works well.
Well, that was so cool to see. I mean, that's the sort of stuff that I just love, seeing that improvement. You could just see it just looks like more full, cool surfing. So that just, it fulfills me. Love it. Super exciting. Love going on retreats like this. This is also another benefit to being on a retreat like this.
So I would say that's more of a fundamental approach to surfing, the general idea of lines on a wave and what they should look like. But we also need to create the possibility for those lines with certain physiological positions that we need to take at different points. Your board is not just going to respond to you because you understand that and know that you want to move from the top of the wave through a smile up to the top. You actually have to help it get there with your body. Positions in surfing are really key to unlocking that stuck feeling. That feeling when you're on a wave and you know that you want your surfboard to get somewhere, but you just can't quite make it happen. So we're going to reference the smile here and then go into the more specific stuff. From point A, our takeoff, through to point B, the surfer needs to be pointing forward with both hands down the wave. Almost imagine hovering them over each knee and angling overall at a 45-degree angle down to that point B. At the same time, the lower body should be easing into its maximum compression point down here at B, which can be felt or interpreted as the surfer loading up into compression for a big jumping action out of the lower body. Now, for reference, that jump is actually going to take us from point B on the wave up to point C.
Tweeds, it's going to be the right. So I want you to really hover that forearm over the face of the wave and have it ready as soon as you pop up. Okay, so popping up, gets better and better. Down into compression, pull and extend up the wave. Then go through that maneuver. Okay, rest. Very good. Rotate. Good. That'll feel a lot more stable if you can get your left foot all the way up over the white.
A key feature of this travel from point A to B is that the trailing arm needs to stay forward, because as we extend and jump up to point C, we need that back arm to correspondingly pull. This creates an upward rotation in the shoulders, directing our surfboard more vertically up the wave face and through the smile. And it serves as a setup for our maneuver where we can then swing or throw that arm, essentially using it as a lever to increase torsion, that is twist, in the upper body within the maneuver. The most common mistakes that I see here with surfers is that they either go down the wave face with their arm behind them, which doesn't allow for the pulling action to occur because you've already pulled essentially, or that they pull too early in the process, which doesn't allow them to really move up the wave with a vertical approach with the surfboard. The surfer actually needs to think about placing their hand onto the wave face, onto point B. and then surfing around that point for a moment, or imagining a bit of a pause, until their surfboard is actually almost pointing to the maneuver section that they want to get to. And then they go through the pulling action and the jumping action at the same time. So we have power, we have twist, and that creates a fast directional change up the wave face. So that focus point of really hovering the forearm, I sound like a broken record when I talk about it over and over again, but it really is often the key that unlocks the maneuver at the top. So we'll see if Tweeds can make it happen.
So once again, yeah, we're going right out the flat, flirt with the flats.
Flirt with the flats.
Keep that arm in there.
Yes. That's perfect. Movement really well, and you're about to pull, but then you throw it. Yeah, so the first part of it's there, the instinct is there, but then we keep getting that crossover happening like that, and that's a result of that lack of pull, because without the pull we can't throw and twist and generate that initial momentum. So the turn's always going to feel weird if we don't start from back here and throw into it. No matter what the turn is, it's always going to feel a little bit awkward.
Now, essentially here, we're looking for the surfer to achieve another position. We're looking for their eyes and chest to get back to the pocket of the wave. Now, the gold standard here, for a top turn at least, is to finish that turn with their leading arm actually pulling up and over the whitewater, which forces their back leg to extend. So we have this lovely arc, this lovely line of spray, and we have a complete maneuver that can then be transitioned from, with essentially something similar to a backside maneuver, back into the next turn. Okay, so they're essentially restarting that process and creating another smile.
And I've probably made more progress in today's session than I have collectively over like 19 years of it. Just those tiny little things. And I don't think it matters how good you are at a certain thing, there's always room for learning. And that's what today is for me. Not that I'm that good, by the way.
Nah, it's been awesome. What I love about Kale is today, you know, I've improved a little bit, like I've seen tiny improvements, but I know what to improve when I'm out in the ocean. So it's like I'm out there on my bottom turns, or at the top, I know what I need to work on. For 20 years, I never knew that. So that's like the best thing about being here with Kale.
One of the tools that's being applied here very powerfully, I think, is video analysis. Without that reference point of one's self, it becomes very difficult for you to work out what you're actually doing on a wave, and then to come up with a strategic plan to improve that, to improve your surfing. And so on that note, I'd love to invite you to our upcoming experiences with the Surfers Roadmap. We're going to the UK wave pool next month. After that, we're going to the Australia wave pools in Melbourne, actually. And then, of course, we have a bunch of other experiences coming up throughout the next year or two. So please do try and come along. I'd love to work with you for that. You can check it all out in the link in the description below. I hope this video was helpful. I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Cheers.